And one of two answers or both answers would come out from each of these researchers. The first one was pretty common amongst them, was we didn't know what to make of it. But you know what? I would have been fine with that, because to me, that was an honest answer. I mean, I didn't know what to make of it either in the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I could relate to them on that answer, but they always would follow it with a second answer. And it was, we were afraid to go there, meaning the spiritual side of this, mm-hmm. because it might affect our credibility in the UFO realm. So what I was seeing is they had research, evidence, part of the UFO puzzle that we've all been trying to put together. But they chose not to share it because of it affecting their credibility. Not that it was getting to the truth or it was completing an entire puzzle, but because of personal issues, personal agendas. And you know what that's called? It's called a cover-up. Throughout the UFO community, you hear government cover up this, government cover up that. But I'm telling you from experience in dealing with this type of case that there's been a cover-up all along by the researchers in this UFO community phenomenon that are supposedly giving us the truth and the answers to this experience. It's coming from them because they've got personal agendas. They only want to share certain things. You know, and if you ever follow these conferences that are going on out there, it's like they never give you the whole thing. You know, you get little bits and pieces. And I guess it's part of keeping you busy coming to their conferences. You know, but I've been sharing the same message for years now, the same evidence, and it still disturbs them.
There are several testimonies on ce4research.com, and I encourage anyone who has either been affected by the phenomenon or knows someone who has to take a look at this research. It is much too important not to. In an article on hearkenthewatchman.com entitled Demons or Extraterrestrials Tremble at the Name of Jesus Christ, Dr. Stephen Yulish comes to the same conclusion, stating, quote, I believe in UFOs and extraterrestrials. I do not believe that either I am delusional or am I hallucinating. I do believe that the government is covering up these phenomena even though they are being bewitched as to its real meaning. This deception is part of the spiritual war between God and Satan. These are therefore serious topics, end quote.
We are, of course, the Pleiadians, and as we've said, it is our pleasure to be here at this time to communicate with you, to give you an opportunity to understand our energy and who we are. This one that speaks through us, we call her our vehicle. She has given you an opportunity to listen to her interpretation of what she feels is taking place as a result of our contact with her.
Not even a speck of a speck. Yet humans live their lives as though they are as big as gods.
Allow us to communicate an idea to you, once again, that we would like to call the span. This involves the idea of a span of time and timing that is now upcoming on your planet.
Although many direct experiences with these entities do seem to entail dread and negativity, there are plenty of accounts of positive experiences. Most of these experiences are found within the New Age movement, where the experiences are not direct physical contact, but rather spiritual through a process called channeling. This is where the person willingly invites entities who are referred to as the higher self, ascended masters, higher spiritual beings, extraterrestrial entities who are communicating telepathically, entities of higher densities, and a number of other alleged beings who are more evolved than human beings. Most of the quotes we've looked at in an earlier section of the ancient mystery schools and theosophy were all channeled information. In the case of Helena Blavatsky, the entity she channeled was named Kuthumi and El Mura, both of whom were considered ascended masters from northern India and Tibet. Alice Bailey channeled the entity Dejwal Kul, also considered an ascended master. Today there are several New Age teachers who claim to get their information from a source of a higher spiritual origin. David Icke claims he channeled entities he refers to as the guides.
And one great example of the way this works I came across, which the beings, which we call the guys, told us about.
You call them the guys?
The guys, yeah. It's not
the beings like
Taro, Rakoski, and that's right.
Right. Yeah.
Now
he was Jesus' father, Rakoski.
That's right.
And Merlin as well.
Part of him was, yeah. That's right. The aspects.
David Wilcock claims he channeled an entity named Ra.
I am Ra. It is an honor and a privilege to greet you this day in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Resonant raindrops, liquid light cascading down in a panoply of shapes and colors, unbeknownst to the conscious mind.
More and more people are beginning to claim that they are channeling Jesus Christ as well.
Certain aspects of Christianity and that organized religion that really belabors, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but the suffering that Jesus may or may not have experienced while he was on the cross. And in meditation about 2 years ago, he actually came to me in meditation. I wasn't asking for him to come forward. But it was a very, very powerful experience where he actually allowed me to feel what it was like on the cross. I was looking down, I could see the pin in my feet as they were crossed, and it was so emotional. I felt and experienced no pain. Mm-hmm. There was pain associated with it.
This is very similar to mediumship and psychics who claim to be able to contact the dead through telepathic means. It is quite clear that the Bible explicitly prohibits the practice of divination, mediumship, and other spiritual practices which allow one to have direct contact with entities from another realm. In Deuteronomy 18:10-11, it states, quote, "Let no one be found among you who sacrifices his son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead." End quote. But why is this so? Plenty of people who channel or have what are called gifts are happy with their ability to do so and would even go as far as to say that God gave them this ability for a greater purpose to help the world. It is my firm belief that God can take any situation and turn it into good. However, like most things in the Bible that God tells us not to do, He is only doing so to keep us from harm. The problem with channeling is that there is no way to know whether these entities which are being contacted are from God, as some suggest, or are counterfeits, in other words, demons working for Satan. It states in 2 Corinthians 11:14-15, quote, "And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. It is not surprising then if his servants masquerade as servants of righteousness. Their end will be what their actions deserve." End quote. Then in 1 John 4:1-3, it states, quote, "Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God, but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world." End quote. God is not in it to try to take away abilities or keep us from enjoying the likes of astral projection, outer body experiences, remote viewing, and other such alleged abilities that are so common and popular in the New Age just because He is cruel and acting as a cosmic police officer. Rather, He is simply giving us warnings and informing us to test the spirits so that we can be sure it is from God to protect us from deceiving spirits who are in it to draw our attention away from God and away from Jesus and ultimately away from the true message of salvation. How many of these folks who channel entities actually exercise this basic principle? And for those who claim they are channeling Jesus Christ, well, I suppose it's possible, but in my opinion, not very likely. Why would Jesus go directly against his own teachings to send a message to someone? The bottom line is that we ourselves can have a direct relationship with Jesus, not through channeling, but through a life of prayer. Prayer is not channeling. The key difference is that with prayer, we ourselves are humble, coming before God, speaking to him directly as ourselves. With channeling, one's own body and mind are taken over, where the entity enters the physical body to deliver a message. Again, this is very similar to demonic possession. Demons do not have bodies. In fact, they seek to enter objects or the physical body as hosts. This is seen all over the Bible. On several accounts, the Bible speaks of demon-possessed people. In Mark chapter 5, a demon-possessed man replies to Jesus when asked what their name is, stating, quote, "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many," end quote. In Luke 4:35, we see Jesus casting out demons, where it states, quote, "Be quiet," Jesus said sternly, "come out of him." Then the demon threw the man down before them all and came out without injuring him, end quote. Later we see disciples of Jesus casting out demons in his name. Quote, "The 72 returned with joy and said, 'Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name,'" end quote. And in Luke 11:14, Jesus drives out another demon, stating, quote, "Jesus was driving out a demon that was mute. When the demon left, the man who had been mute spoke, and the crowd was amazed," end quote. The dangers of channeling are that you are allowing deceiving spirits enter into your body. It is dangerous not only for your own soul, but for others around you, such as friends and family. The danger is that it can lead to demonic possession and strongholds. It is my firm belief that exorcisms do not need to be performed exclusively by Catholic priests, as most believe, but can be done by those who have been saved by Jesus Christ. Many in deliverance ministries do this very thing under the name and authority of Jesus Christ. In 2003, a film crew for the WN Network filmed an exorcism of a demon-possessed girl. What you are about to see are excerpts from this broadcast.
Martina and her parents have been coming to see Padre Alfredo regularly for the past 6 months. The family has turned to the exorcist in an attempt to solve problems which have troubled their daughter since she was 8 years old. Although Martina comes to the sessions willingly, as soon as she enters Padre Alfredo's bunker, she suffers a violent reaction. For her own safety, she has to be restrained before the exorcism can begin.
Oh, tu all'inferno vai!
Prende l'acqua, padre, prende l'acqua, l'acqua, prende l'acqua. Lasciami! Prende l'acqua.
Sì, ci ho pensato, ma...
L'acqua, l'acqua.
Non ci ho pensato.
L'acqua.
Sta buona? Sta buona, forza. Sì, professore, ci provo a pensare. Nel nome del Padre, del Figlio e dello Spirito Santo. Signore Gesù Cristo, Figlio di Parvatello Padre, Figlio di Grazia. Che però il tuo nome sia benedetto, che sia il santo, è di Cristo, è di Cristo, è di Cristo. Ecco l'acqua del Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore è con te. Tu sei benedetta fra le donne. Murigno. Ave Maria, piena di grazia, il Signore è con te. Tu sei benedetta fra le donne. Benedetta Santa Maria, ma libera. Ma Maria, no, maligno, il Cristo è più forte. Cacciali via, no. Di la verità. Di la verità a questa signora. Esiste o non esisti tu? Il demonio esiste o non esiste?
Esiste il demonio!
Come fai a dimostrarlo? Come fai a dimostrare che esiste?
Tutto!
Ma questo...
Io esisto! E chi non ci crede bene!
Ma questo...